Hello everyone, welcome back to the Undercut podcast. Today we are going to be doing our post-testing season predictions. This is going to be a juicy video because comparatively to our pre-testing predictions, they have changed a lot, I'd say. My opinions have changed. I don't know about you, Jack, but...
A little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, without further ado, shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Drivers or constructors first? What are we saying?
Drivers. We'll do
Drivers. Okay, go on then. Who have you
Start-
put in
start
last
last.
place? Start last.
K-Mag,
In what position?
20th.
20th.
Have you got 21 again?
I've got 21 again, so I'll give you two. 21st, Kevin Magnussen. 20th, Logan Sargent.
Right. I don't think there'll be any mid-season swaps.
You don't?
I don't think there'll be any mid-season. I think come the end of the season, there'll be a lot. There'll probably be 3 come the end of the season. I think.
You mean like after the season's finished?
Yeah, after the season's finished, that's when we'll get 3 new drivers in for next year. But we won't get any mid-season.
I'm gonna throw a curveball and I'm gonna stick with my guns from the last season predictions video. I think we'll see one.
I was tempted, but I just don't think that they'll do it.
I think they will because I think. Well, actually, I don't know. It depends how far. No, actually, I'm gonna say they will. I'll explain why. But Logan Sargent, K-Mag being last, there's no explanation there. The Haas looks dog. Hulkenberg outperformed him last year.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Logan Sargent 20th for me, just on the basis that I think the Williams will be around the bottom of the field, probably more towards the mid-pack, but I don't think Logan will deliver, unfortunately. I hope to be proven wrong because I do like Logan Sargent, but I just don't think he's got what it takes. So, 19th.
Okay, last. Again. Yeah.
19th, what are you saying?
Hulkenberg.
Wow, so you think Haas are right both at the bottom?
Yeah, I don't think they've got a good enough car at the moment. I think the trend with Haas is that they don't develop to a rate that everyone else does, so the car gets even slower throughout the year as well. So that's not going to help. I just think it's a lose-lose situation for Haas this year, to be honest.
It is. I haven't gone with Hulkenberg, but I've gone with... This is controversial. I've gone with Esteban Ocon.
No, I can understand why.
Now, obviously, I've been on kind of the Alpine hate bandwagon. I even posted on our story earlier today.
You're the leader of the
Alpine
bandwagon.
I posted on. Did you see what I posted on our story
yes,
today?
I've seen.
Basically, for those of you who don't know, I posted on. Go follow us on Undercut Instagram. I posted Alpine, the rumor that Alpine are the slowest car according to the data that we've got from testing. I don't think that's true at all. I think Haas will be slower, but I haven't been impressed by Alpine this test, and I do think that they will very much struggle this season. I've been saying they'll be last for many seasons coming, and I've been proven wrong every time, but I think this is the one where they...
Don't just say it's because of the test. You've been hating on Alpine since Riv revealed the car.
I like Alpine, I swear.
You are the leader of Alpine hate gang.
You know, because I said in the podcast, it must have been a month ago now, getting on for 2 months ago probably. One of the first podcasts, I said that Esteban Ocon, I rate Esteban Ocon, and I would have put him in that Mercedes seat. So if I've put Esteban Ocon 19th, that shows how much I think that Alpine is gonna be, how fucking shit it's gonna be, how it's gonna be a piece of bollocks, basically.
Yeah, well,
so
just a piece of bollocks regardless of how good it was.
Okay, 18th.
My 18th, I've gone with Sargent.
Sargent, okay. Wait a minute. So you're switching up now on your Albon Sargent By the way, if you have not seen the channel before, this man right here said that Logan Sargent was going to outperform Alex Albon. Call him out on it. Man's gone back because he's seen the test. He knows he can't back him.
Things
Such
come
a
into
turncoat.
perspective when you see.
Things come into perspective, my arse. You made a bad judgment, and now you're going back on it.
You make your judgments. Back then, we made our judgments on hope and what we could see. And then I saw the car on track, and I saw Logan on track, and I just started crying.
Yeah. So, similar to you, I've gone Hulkenberg in 18th, so one position different, but Sargent I put 20th, so you're coming back to reality right now.
Slowly. It might change mid-season.
Yeah, probably will. When he starts winning races.
Yeah, exactly.
17th.
Ocon.
Oh, okay. So you know what? We've gone pretty similar then. I thought I was bold going Ocon 19th, but it seems maybe a similar thought process.
I don't think that Alpine is good. I think that they are. They're down. They're very much down. I think the only team really possibly that's worse than them is Haas. I don't think they're miles off the pace of the others. But, yeah, there's going to be a struggle this year.
I agree. I've gone with Pierre Gasly for the same reasons. Made 17th.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to be a poor season. I really like Pierre. Pierre, I think, is one of the quickest drivers on the grid. I just don't think he's had the car to show it recently. Obviously, his Red Bull days kind of set him back a bit, but obviously, as we know from Albon and Perez, it's not easy going up against Max in a team that's built around him. So, but Pierre, a great driver. But 17th, yeah, got to go with 17th. 16th.
Zhou.
I've gone Zhou as well. Exactly the same.
Zhou Guanyu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the Sauber is, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree.
That's just where it is, and I don't think he'll underperform. I don't think he's going to overperform.
Think he'll be right there.
I think he'll just kind of be there.
I agree. I think the Sauber's all right. Like, it looks decent.
Yeah, good car.
And if they can keep on top of development, hopefully with obviously the sponsorship money coming in from Stake and Kick, hopefully that'll help them along a bit.
Maybe it might go up a bit.
No, hopefully. 15th.
Pierre Gasly.
So relatively the same explanation as before. Just the Alpine's not there.
Of course, yeah.
I've gone with Liam Lawson.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Liam Lawson in the RB.
Yeah.
Coming in there. I don't think I think it'll be halfway through the season, so I haven't put him any higher because I think the points he'll accumulate might not be enough to grab hold of a top 14.
Liam Lawson's one of the drivers I think will come in at the end of the year for next year, but I don't think that there'll be a change mid-season.
I have to disagree, but there we go. 14th?
14th. Who the hell got 14th? Albon.
Albon, okay. So I rate that because you went from a period, as we were mentioning a few weeks ago, to putting Albon below Sargent in like 18th place, to now realising that Albon is the actual shit and he's going to finish high this year.
Yeah, I just did it for the bands, innit?
Do it for the clicks. I've gone with Valtteri Bottas.
All right, yeah.
Have you gone with Bottas in 13th?
I have.
I assumed you have. I've gone with Lance Stroll. Now, I want to put a disclaimer, right? Lance Stroll I put in 17th in my last predictions video. And the reason is because I didn't think he would have necessarily bad performances. I just think him as a driver, that his top level, if Alpine were in front, if McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull are all in front, he's gonna be bottom of those 12 drivers, isn't he? Realistically, So there's not going to be many points accumulated. I thought most of the races he'll finish 11th, 12th place. So no points, and that'll just accumulate over the season, and he'll end up finishing 17th. Which, to be fair, sounds bad, but it's I think it's a fair enough thought process. But now that Alpine look to be probably back of the grid with Haas, or potentially, who knows? Then I think Stroll is kind of maybe coming to look in terms of where I think he'll be, and I think he'll probably be bottom of the points most races. Luckily for him,
the Aston Martin looks good compared to what you thought it would.
Yeah, and I think Aston Martin,
You thought the Aston Martin wasn't going to be that good.
Yeah, and it has generally impressed me. The Aston Martin, it's better than I thought it'd be. So Lance Stroll 13th for me.
Yeah. 12th I've gone with Yuki.
Oh, Yuki Tsunoda. Okay, why Yuki?
I don't know. I think the RB is just that. I mean, I look at the teams that are in front. I think you've got the big four: McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari. You've got Aston Martin that I think slightly have the advantage right now. So I think 12th is a fair shout for Yuki. He's still hot-headed. Hasn't shown blistering pace. I think Ricciardo's had the edge in testing.
Yeah.
And I think 12th's fair for Yuki. It's not a bad place to put Yuki. I think Yuki would be happy with 12th.
Fair enough. I've gone with Alex Albon. I can't put him any higher than that.
That's overachieving Albon.
Now, the reason I put Albon there is because I think he'll continue to perform on another level than he was last season. But I can't put him any higher than 12th because I think he gets above. I think obviously that pack of K-Mag to Stroll, not Stroll, K-Mag to Bottas, I think is very close, and I think Albon's the better driver out of all of them, and I think he will outperform that Williams to its maximum. So I think he'll be in front of that
Bottas
pack.
Better than Albon.
I think he pips Stroll because I think Stroll will have just one or two woeful performances, and Alex will be the exact opposite of that. And I think he gets fortunate being in front of Liam because Liam comes in mid-season. So I think those are two places then that you can say that he gets maybe based off a little bit of luck, but I think that's where he'll finish. So
I think he's overachieved that.
I'm hopeful. I believe in Albon this season. I really do.
I don't know much.
Right, 11th.
Stroll.
Okay, why Stroll?
What do you mean, why Stroll? The Aston Martin is good. He will get points. He will.
Yeah.
It'll be fringe points, but it's not going to be like top 5 points.
Yeah.
But he will get points. The Aston Martin is good enough for points. And I don't know, he'll just secure 11. It's just, it's a there place, isn't it? And that's what Stroll is, a there driver.
11th most races, and then occasionally the bottom half of the points will guarantee him 11th, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just got no hope for Stroll. It's very under par for what that car is.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. I've gone with Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
Now, before I explain what I've done with the Red Bull driver swap, I said last time that I think Yuki will be having a better season than Ricciardo. So when they do swap Perez out of that Red Bull, it would be Yuki that goes into it. However, I've changed after testing my thought process. Daniel looks very comfortable in that car. Daniel looks to have got the edge on Yuki maybe very slightly. I think there won't be much between them, but I think I underestimated Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, we're forgetting he's an 8-time race winner. He was a potential world champion at one point. He outperformed Vettel in the 2014 season. Put up a good fight against Max when he came through at Red Bull. So I think I personally underrated Daniel Ricciardo there. And Yuki, I think, will stay in the RB, but will grab 11th. And I think Ricciardo will go into the Red Bull mid-season, which is why I've put him slightly higher. And yeah.
Yeah.
Who have you gone with for 10th?
Piastri.
Piastri, I've gone Sergio Perez just because I think he will only do half a season. But
Yeah,
I think he'll accumulate enough points to be top 10.
I went with Piastri off the basis of I think, and this is going off last season and a little bit of testing as well. Piastri's, I don't know how to put it, newness, rookiness, youth. He's, I think, slightly too hard on his tyres, which causes a huge drop off compared to the other big team drivers.
So you think that if there's
put him on the back foot.
So you think that if those McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin are all close, he's bottom of that pack?
He's the weakest one of them, apart from
That's fair enough. Yep, that's fair enough.
I think the McLaren's good, and I think it's going to be close, but...
Did you say 10th for Oscar Piastri?
I did.
You said 10th. So who have you put 9th?
Who did you have 10th?
I put Sergio Perez. Half season. 9th?
9th. I put Perez.
You put Perez. Oh. Okay, so here you go. So I've said he's doing half a season, and I've only put him one place lower than you. So Perez must have had a stinker of a season for you to put him 9th.
Yeah.
An absolute stinker.
I've got reasons.
Go on then.
I'll reveal the reasons in a bit.
You have done it. No, have you done a driver swap? Have you said Daniel Ricciardo? You haven't said Daniel Ricciardo. You've done a driver swap. You bloody! I knew you had, and you were saying this whole time you hadn't. Right. Anyway,
I never said that its driver was going off the grid.
All right. Okay. I've gone Daniel Ricciardo 9th. He'll go into the Red Bull, and he'll be in there. 8th.
8th, I went with Ricciardo.
In the Red Bull, come the end of the season. So you've done exactly what I've done, except I've thrown Perez out completely, and you haven't.
Correct.
Yeah. 8th, I've gone Fernando Alonso.
You went with Alonso 8th. I think I would have gone with Alonso 8th, but with the Ricciardo Perez situation, I think it's promoted Alonso up to 7th for me.
Oh, you've gone Alonso 7th?
Yeah, because of the Ricciardo Perez situation with them having half a year in the RB, half a year in the Red Bull, it's allowed Fernando to consistently, in that Aston Martin, to just move up a position.
That's why I've put Alonso 8th. Now, I do think the Aston Martin looks better than I initially thought, but I don't think it is quite there with McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari. I think the way I see it is...
Either, I think the long runs, they're down again.
The way I see it is you've got your bottom half all very close together. You've got RB in this little grey area. I think they're the new Alpine this year. You've got RB in that grey area. And then you've got Aston Martin in another grey area, potentially tipping the scales to being a front runner. Then you've got track dependent, exactly. Then you've got McLaren and Mercedes neck and bloody neck. And then just in front of McLaren Mercedes, once again, potentially could be track dependent, is Ferrari. Very close, though. And then miles ahead is Red Bull. That's how I see it at the moment. So with that, I've gone Fernando Alonso 8th. We've got to remember he's a class driver. And you've got to put him somewhere on the fringes of being one of the top positions. So
that's why I went Alonso 7th.
Yeah. The only difference with me and you, though, is you put Piastri 10th and I put Piastri 7th. So I've gone with Oscar Piastri in 7th, which is obviously why Fernando isn't 7th for me. But
I do love Oscar. I'm not hating on Oscar. I just feel with Ricciardo and Perez both having half a year in Red Bull, they'll be far enough ahead of Piastri.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't think they'd be far enough ahead to beat Alonso. Do you know what I mean? The Alonso to Piastri gap, I think Alonso will perform on a level where that he'll drag that Aston Martin up to McLaren. and I don't think Oscar will perform on a level where the McLaren will be ahead of the Aston Martin a lot of Fernando. So I think the gap of Oscar to Fernando with Ricciardo and Perez in there is going to be really close.
Yeah.
But I think Oscar's youth and the fact that he is hard on his tyres in races, unless he's improved that this year, which I only find out watching this year, is going to be Oscar's downfall.
That's fair enough.
For him, with the 2 Red Bulls, well, Ricciardo. Ricciardo's then going to catch Oscar and overtake, but not overtake Fernando. And then Perez is going to be far enough ahead, having half a year in the Red Bull.
Yep, that's fair enough. Okay, then 6th place.
6th place, I've gone with George Russell.
I've also gone with George Russell. I believe the Mercedes isn't quite where I thought it'd be. Well, no, it's exactly where I thought it'd be. But for some reason, I had this hope that potentially they were a little bit closer to Ferrari and Red Bull this year. And I don't think that's the case. They're more with McLaren. They're on the fringes. I think they could potentially win a race. Either George or Lewis could. The same way I think Lando could win a race, but I don't think they're quite there.
I think race pace, they're ahead of Ferrari.
You know what? I thought this, right? But then I was scrolling through social media this morning.
Yeah, I know.
And I've seen
the same post. I know.
I've seen a lot of things and a lot of data comparison about Ferrari's race pace is improving. They're looking at the long runs that they've done. They're analysing it, and it's come out that they look a lot stronger than they initially seemed, and they seem to have fixed their issues from last year.
The only thing I'm going to say is I watched a thing with James Allison, and he said they were doing their long run at the same time as McLaren and Ferrari. And he was asked, "Oh yeah, what did you find of them at?" And all he did was smile.
Well, hopefully the long run pace is better, but you know, for Hamilton's sake, obviously being a Hamilton
Mercedes are quietly confident with their long run.
I hope so. I want to see some good racing. I want to see some close racing, but you know, I do believe Ferrari have the edge after what I've seen today.
I think they do. Ollie.
Oh, definitely. For sure. Who have you gone with 5th then?
Sainz.
Now you see that's really funny because I initially would have gone with Sainz. I think I put Sainz really low down on my first. I might have slightly underrated him. I think I put him 7th.
I think we both put him 7th.
I think I underrated him because I've now gone Lewis Hamilton.
Do you think Mercedes are that far?
I don't think they're that far off. I think it's very close. I just think that Ferrari last year, and it could be the same this year, obviously. We're only going off testing and what we've seen.
That's outrageous you put Lewis Hamilton there.
No, it's close. It's close, though.
No, it's outrageous because I know that you put Lando Norris further up. No.
Yeah.
No.
I have.
But no.
I only say this because I don't know. There's something inside me that says that Mercedes is stable, it's reliable, and it's quick, but it's just not as quick as the Ferrari.
No, it's not as quick as the Ferrari, but Lewis Hamilton will make the difference in beating Sainz and Norris this year for sure, and Charles.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
I'm not so confident.
I'm
not so confident. What I was going to say though is I think this year could very much be the same as last year, where track dependency could be an issue for Ferrari. We don't know that yet because we've only been to Bahrain. But if they have fixed their issues, all I'm saying is if they're consistently going to be in front of Mercedes, it's not going to be... I don't think,
If they're consistently going to be in front of Mercedes, then they need other drivers, which they are getting next year.
Either way.
Their drivers are accident prone. Simple
Ferraris?
Yeah.
I'd say Charles is accident prone, but Carlos is...
No, I'm not having that. You forget because recency bias. Carlos in 2022, first 6 races, I swear he DNF 4 of them. Because he crashed.
I think he might have done. Yeah, but
So yeah, I'm not,
you
I'm not,
can't you can't go off 2022 when you've got 2023 in front of you.
yeah, but
That
Carlos again last year he had problems. It's a Charles and Carlos thing. They always have problems. They always get into scraps. They always get a bit of damage on the front wing. And then they're too tentative at times because they're scared after about 3 races in a row of crashing.
I don't know. I've got a lot of confidence in the drive pairing this year.
I
Who
think
have you
they're
gone with
both
fourth?
Norris.
Me too, Lando Norris, 4th place.
It's outrageous that Lewis Hamilton's not ahead of Lando though. Outrageous.
I can't. I love Lewis Hamilton. I just can't.
He's ahead of Lando.
I'm using my head. I can't
You're not
put him.
That's stupid.
I can't put. No, Lando is a different beast, and when that McLaren is at a track that it's competitive at, I just think Lando's gonna just wipe the floor with everyone that's not Max Verstappen.
No.
I just think he will. I think that Mercedes is going to be too. The Mercedes is going to be too inconsistent in terms of its pace. I don't know. There's just something off about Mercedes for me this year. I think potentially, I think the Mercedes could be the 4th best car in a lot of the races, and it's a miracle I've put Hamilton and Russell 5th and 6th. I just believe in those drivers. Hamilton's obviously one of the best. George Russell, I think, is very talented. I think they'll pull out performances when they need to. I think they'll be ahead of Fernando, they'll be ahead of Piastri, they'll be ahead of Stroll, they'll be ahead of Ricciardo, Perez, Yuki. But I just think, I don't know, somewhat off of that. I don't know. The Mercedes looks solid. It looks like a solid race car. I just don't think the pace is there, and I've got this feeling inside me that it's not there this season, especially compared to the Ferrari most races, and I think maybe the McLaren on some races. And depending on what race it is, maybe even Aston Martin. Who knows? So I don't know. I really, really hope I'm wrong, but 3rd place,
Charles
Leclerc. So you think you think maybe there's a couple of race wins on the cards this year for Charles?
100%.
Maybe maybe half the poles.
No, not half, but I think he'll probably get at least 5.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got over 1 lap, hasn't
he? Yeah, and I think he'll get a couple of race wins this year.
You reckon?
But I also, in saying that, I think he'll lead more than a couple of races this year. I think he'll just make a mistake.
Oh, okay. Leaning into that that Charles accident prone.
Yeah, I love Charles. I'm not having this "you hate Charles" blah blah blah. No, I love him. Phenomenal.
You hate Charles Leclerc.
He has an accident in him all the time, and we saw that highlighted very much when he was in a championship fight in 2022.
Yeah, that's true. He could have been. I remember doing the math at one point. If he didn't crash out of the races he crashed out in, I think he was like 60 points clear or something come mid-season of Max Verstappen.
Yep.
And obviously that Red Bull, the Red Bull made gains in the last half of the season.
Pushed on, but it could have been a lot closer.
It could have been. I still think Max would have won it, but I think it would have been a lot closer come the final race of the season.
Yeah.
I've gone Carlos Sainz in 3rd.
That's fucking outrageous.
No, right. You're underrating Sainz here. I'm sorry. You're underrating him.
I'm not. I put Sainz 5th.
I think people are underrating Sainz.
That he's 3rd, but I'm hung up on the fact that you've put Lewis Hamilton 5th. There's no. I
chance.
He's ahead of both. He's ahead of both Norris and Sainz. Norris 5th, Sainz 4th, Hamilton 3rd. At that point in your tier list, I can see why you put Charles ahead of Hamilton. I can understand that, but not Sainz and not Norris.
I don't know.
Nah, Hamilton. We'll see this year. Hamilton consistently, at least P3s minimum. He's consistently podiuming.
All right, we'll see.
I think Hamilton's consistency is what brings him up the championship this year.
Oh, 100%. If he ends up finishing 2nd, 3rd, is Hamilton's relentless consistency, whether he's finishing,
His
mid of
winless
the
run
points.
will come to the end this year.
I believe so as well. I think he'll win a race. I do. I genuinely do.
He'll win a race. I think he'll win multiple.
Right. Second, I'm guessing you've got Lewis Hamilton.
No.
No, don't. It's delusional. You're saying I'm deluded. Lewis Hamilton is never going to win this championship in a million years. And do not lie to yourself.
I have put Hamilton second.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I have put Hamilton second.
I think even your big heart can't overpower your brain when it comes to this championship going in only one man's direction, and that's Max Verstappen.
Yeah, I know that.
I've gone with Charles second. I don't think it'll be close. I think Max Verstappen will win the constructors by himself again.
It's not going to be close.
No, not all.
But
Constructors then.
Constructors.
Yeah. I don't think, unless you want to touch on Max a second.
No, I don't want to touch on Max a second. I've had enough of Buddy Max being first.
Yeah, I think we all knew that. We have to move
depressing.
on. Yeah, it's depressing. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're wrong. I hope we are wrong. I hope we're coming for a championship battle. That would be interesting, but obviously,
Let that Red Bull Honda go back to the Honda engine of McLaren and just blow up every other race.
To be fair, I mean, Perez had that one issue, didn't he, in testing, and hopefully, can maybe see a few blow-ups. Right, Constructors' Championship then, 10th place.
Haas.
Yep, same. No explanation now needed.
Yeah.
9th.
Alpine.
Same for me. Yep, no explanation needed there. Same as we said before.
No.
8th.
Williams
for me too.
Yeah.
Just Logan Sargent, I think, is letting that side down a little bit there. Unfortunately for me, I think Albon will accumulate a lot of points again, but I think Logan Sargent lets that down.
I don't think it's that. I think Stake. I think it kind of to do that. I just think Stake have a more balanced driver pairing in terms of results.
That's fair enough. Have you gone with them 7th?
Yes.
I've also gone with them 7th. Have we got the exact same constructor standings?
Probably.
Okay, 6th.
The only one that could swap is I've got Racing Bulls 6th.
I've got Aston Martin 6th.
Yeah.
I had to put him 6th because of where I put Stroll, but if not, I would have put him ahead.
You see, yeah, I think Fernando does enough.
You think Fernando does enough?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a matter of maybe 10 points between them.
Yeah, it's going to be close, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think Fernando just gets a few more points, and I think Stroll's 11th. Saves him.
I've gone with RB 5th.
I've gone with Aston Martin.
So we've swapped them around. 4th?
Yeah. McLaren.
I've gone McLaren as well. I think I don't want to say Oscar lets it down because I think that's a bit harsh.
Oscar has let it down,
but he has let it down. There. I mean, obviously, we could be sitting here in a year's time and saying, "Wow, Oscar really drags McLaren up to 2nd." You never know, do you? But
no.
But it I think based on how close the teams are, and obviously, like you said before, I think you touched on a very, very fair point, is that the big team drivers, I think, probably all have an edge on Oscar at the moment. Not to say that, yeah, exactly. Not that Oscar couldn't challenge them. It's like, I think when you need
a consistent basis, I don't think he can. Over 10 races, I don't think Oscar can challenge the likes of Hamilton, Sainz, Leclerc.
Yeah, it's like if you need someone to go out there and get you 10 podiums on a trot, you're picking Hamilton, Charles, whoever else. You're not picking Lando. Even his teammates.
You're not picking Oscar yet. Not say that. I think he's got the ability to be that driver in a couple of years' time. Absolutely,
yeah. But in a few years' time, I very much Oscar. If he improves on last season, he very much reminds me of Lando Norris actually when he first came into the sport.
He does. Reminds me of Lando.
Very upward. I think it's interesting because I'd say I'd rate Lando probably over George Russell, but if you remember when George Russell came into the sport, he was this mega talent. Everyone was hyping him. He just won the F2 championship. And George Russell was probably one of the best rookies we've seen in the sport for a very long time from the off. And Lando, I'd say, probably wasn't as good as him. But Russell hasn't made as much progress, I think, as a driver as Lando has. And then Lando's kind of come up to this level now where I think he's probably one of the best on the grid. So I think Oscar has got that kind of trajectory.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I didn't have that opinion of George when it came to it.
No, I know you didn't. I know you didn't. Who you gone third then? I think it's obvious. Ferrari? What the Ferrari?
Ferrari.
You don't... Okay. I've gone Mercedes, but Ferrari, okay.
And I've gone for Ferrari purely off the basis of I do think that Charles and Sainz will let him down. And I think the team will let him down.
Wow.
Still. And I'm wearing a Ferrari jumper. So, Ferrari fans.
He's being honest.
Fuck you. Yeah, I just feel like Lewis Hamilton's... Like, you're going to see, I think you'll see, Hamilton third. But then you'll see Charles second, first, 8th, first, 12th. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the consistency that Mercedes will bring and Hamilton will bring, like we saw last year,
that's fair.
Will cause Ferraris to be.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I guess on that basis, you could switch Mercedes and Ferrari around.
Yeah.
But
you could. You easily.
I've put Ferrari second because obviously we have a different opinion on how the drivers will perform, but you know, I guess with that it can go either way. And obviously Red Bull first, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Mercedes second, Red Bull first.
I don't think it'll be as dominant as it was last season because I think Perez will underperform, which I think it will scare Red Bull come mid-season. I think it'll scare them, and I think they'll think, okay, we need another driver in that second seat to drag this constructors over the line. I think it'll be too close for their comfort.
Hey, Rick.
So they'll bring Danny Rick in, but I think Max will end up just winning it by himself anyway.
I've just got a
feeling,
that they just won't want to disrupt Liam Lawson mid-season. They'll just put Perez in the RB for half a year, and then they'll just leave it as that.
Thing is, I think if Perez goes in that RB, I reckon he wipes the floor with that midfield.
But what I am going to say, come the end of the year, we're going to see Antonelli, Lawson, and Behrman on the grid for next year.
Ooh, Oliver Behrman for who?
Magnussen.
Okay. I think we're gonna see. Teo Porcher, Antonelli, and yeah, I go Oliver Behrman
And Lawson.
And Lawson. I reckon we'll see on the grid.
Who's Behrman and Porsche coming in for?
Behrman for Haas and Magnussen for Haas. Haas.
Yeah.
And Teo Porcher in Sauber.
For sure.
For Joe, and then I reckon Carlos Sainz goes to Sauber as well.
Well, that's
to fit into the team. What?
That's another idea for later on in the year.
It is, yeah. I mean, it depends where Sainz goes, though, doesn't it? So, without getting too much into that conversation.
Yes.
If he goes to Mercedes, then it's not going to happen. But if he goes to Audi, if he goes to Sauber in preparation for it to become Audi, to build that team around him, I think you place a rookie next to him. Who else than Teo Porcher, in my opinion?
Yeah. I can understand that. But, no, I think we'll only get Behrman, Lawson, and Antonelli.
That'd be good, though, wouldn't it? I mean, imagine 4 rookies on the grid. Obviously, Lawson's not a rookie, but...
No, yeah.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. And I think they will shake it up a bit, ready for 2026.
Yeah. But either way, that is our constructors and drivers predictions for the 2024 season. Post-testing, a lot of things changed, obviously, which is why we decided to do 2 videos, 2 segments on it. But it's been a long video, actually. It's been 40 minutes. Us talking about Formula 1. If you want to see more of this, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, comment down below what you thought and what are your season predictions post-testing. And remember, this weekend we will be live streaming the Bahrain Grand Prix on Saturday afternoon and the Bahrain qualifying on Friday afternoon. So make sure to join us then. What?
You forgot it was Friday and Saturday, didn't you?
No.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean, yes?
You did it in a weird order.
Well, I said Saturday, and then I was like, it's the race, and then I was like, Friday.
You forgot.
Man, I'm gonna wake up Saturday morning and go, right, qualifying, and then you're gonna be like, bro, qualifying's already happened.
You've watched it.
What? Who's on pole? Max Verstappen by 10 seconds. Oh, Jesus.
Charles Leclerc.
You know what? I could see that actually. Yeah, Charles Leclerc.
Gonna be Charles Palm.
Charles, Max, Sainz, top 3.
Charles, Max, Lewis.
All right, okay. Put bets on it. Fiver. No, actually not doing that, because then if we start doing that all season, I'll have no money.
Yeah.
With that being said, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys on Friday for the stream, not Saturday. And yeah, see you in a bit.